Hi everyone and welcome back to GK Today. I am Sia and very good morning. Here we are discussing the most important current affairs of 17th of July 2025. But first let us revise the last day current affairs and they are who won the men's single title at the 2025 Wimbledon Tennis Championship, and that is option number A, Jannik Sinner. The next is which ministry has launched the ADETIE scheme to boost industrial competitiveness, jobs and climate action. So basically it was launched by the option number A, Ministry of Power. The next is which country hosted the Talisman Sabre exercise 2025. So basically it is a bilateral exercise between Australia and US, and currently it was hosted by the Australia. The next is the Zarawa tribe is primarily found in which state or UT. So basically this tribal group is from option number C, Andaman and Nicobar Island. The next is Pongdam Lake Wildlife Sanctuary is located in which state? So basically the state is Himachal Pradesh. The next is which state government has launched a campaign to revive 75 small rivers and tributaries in July 2025, and that state is Uttar Pradesh, whose CM is Yogi Adityanath. So basically he launched this initiative. The next is according to section 19 of the Representation of the People Act, who is eligible to be enrolled in the electoral roll of a constituency. So as per section 9, answer is option number A, only a person who is an ordinarily resident in that constituency. The next is the interstellar comet 3I or Atlas was recently discovered by using which telescope, and that telescope is option number C, Atlas telescopes. Please rectify, there is a project that is Atlas project funded by the NASA, and 4 observatories are functioning under the Atlas project. Exactly, they are from Hawaii, Chile and South Africa. Please note 2 are from the Hawaii island. One is from the Chile and the other last one is from South Africa. The next is Bhadrakali Lake that was recently seen in news is located in which state, and that state is option number B, Telangana. Right? Here we go with the today's session and the topics that we will discuss in today's current affair, and they are Barak Valley, Patriot Air Defense Missile System, Carbon Credit Trading Scheme, and Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, first of its kind initiative in the world. First women DG of the Railway Protection Force, Pirina Assuni scheme from a state, a recent conference, and that is BIMSTEC Port Conference, and a second recently recognized as India's first digital Nomad village, and third national conference on Shalya Tantra. Here we go. And the most important thing, all these questions, they are from the Daily 20 MCQ series, and that is available in GKToday Android App. Only in multiple language it is available. The first one, where was the BIMSTEC Ports Conference 25 held? And exactly it was hosted by the Andhra Pradesh, and exactly the authority is Visakhapatnam Port Authority. So recently the Union Minister of Port, and that is Savan Sonowal, launched the 2-day BIMSTEC Port Conference in Visakhapatnam. And here BIMSTEC, basically it is a regional organization and it stands for Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Its establishment year was 1997 it is, and its headquarters located at Dhaka in Bangladesh. And currently it was new just because of BIMSTEC Port Conference hosted by India at Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Basically the aim of this conference, it focuses on maritime connectivity among Bay of Bengal nation, and it aligns with India's neighborhood first policy. Here we are discussing India's neighborhood first policy. It was implemented in 2008, and its focus point, basically it prioritized diplomatic, cultural and economic relation with neighbor countries only. And we all know there are 8 neighbor countries of India, including Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. And currently we are sharing the largest boundary with the Bangladesh only. So you have to remember the BIMSTEC Port Conference, and currently it was hosted by the Visakhapatnam Port Authority, and basically it is a 2-day event so that India can boost its relation, its maritime relation with the member countries of BIMSTEC. Here we are discussing another update that is related with the BIMSTEC, because lastly the PM Modi was on visit to Thailand just because of the annual summit of BIMSTEC that was hosted by the Thailand. And basically there the PM Modi has launched an initiative named Bodhi Initiative. So Bodhi Initiative, it is associated with the BIMSTEC group, and launched by the India in the 6th edition of BIMSTEC Summit that was hosted by the Thailand. The full form of Bodhi, it stands for BIMSTEC, for Organized Development of Human Resource Infrastructure. Through this initiative, India will train 300 youth annually in India. A scholarship program for Nalanda University and Forest Research Institute students as per this initiative, and an annual training for young diplomats from BIMSTEC nations as per this initiative, that is Bodhi Initiative. And also update, recently Thailand has handed over the chairmanship of BIMSTEC to Bangladesh. So Bangladesh will be the host of 7th BIMSTEC Summit and will chair the BIMSTEC group for the next 2 years, right? Moving on, here we are discussing some other current affairs that is related with the BIMSTEC, and they are: where was the third BIMSTEC Agricultural Conference held in April 2025? And that was Nepal. Recently, which country has taken over as the new chair of the regional grouping BIMSTEC? And that country is Bangladesh. Which country is the host of 6th BIMSTEC Summit? And that country is Thailand. Which Indian city is the host of BIMSTEC Youth Summit? And that is Gandhinagar. India hosted the second BIMSTEC expert group meeting on cyber security cooperation in which city? And that city is New Delhi. Which Indian organization has initiated the first ever mid-career training program for BIMSTEC civil servants? And that organization is National Center for Good Governance. And which country hosts BIMSTEC Business Summit 2024? And that is by. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a scheme, and that is Carbon Credit Trading Scheme. So which organization is responsible for implementation of Carbon Credit Trading Scheme? And that organization is option number D, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Please note, there is a two main organization that is related with the Carbon Credit Trading Scheme. The one is the implementing, and that is Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and the other one is the governing agency, and that is National Steering Committee for Indian Carbon Market. Overall, recently the Indian government announced greenhouse gas emission intensity targets for entities in 8 heavy industry sector under the Carbon Credit Trading Scheme. So, what is Carbon Credit Trading Scheme? It is a market-based framework to regulate and trade carbon credit. It assigns monetary value to GHG emission, greenhouse gas emission, promoting a shift to a low carbon economy. And overall, the scheme moves focus from energy efficiency to greenhouse gas intensity reduction, and it is implemented by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Here we are discussing a certificate, and that is what is a carbon credit certificate. Basically it is a tradable certificate and can be earned by the Carbon Credit Trading Scheme. So it represents a verified reduction of 1 ton of CO2 equivalent emission, right? Point to be remembered. And here the 8 industries, basically they are associated with the aluminum sector, cement sector, iron, steel, textile, petrochemicals, and the petroleum refineries of India. So overall, recently Carbon Credit Trading Scheme was in news just because it is implemented by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and its target is to reduce the carbon emission. Moving on, here we are discussing some other carbon related current affairs, and they are: which organization has released a report titled State and Trends of Carbon Pricing, and it was from World Bank. CBAM is associated with which organization? And that is European Union. Which government department launched India's first cluster of carbon capture and utilization test beds? And that is by Department of Science and Technology. Test beds, that is by Department of Science and Technology. Which organization has adopted the first global carbon tax on shipping industry? And that is by International Maritime Organization. CBAM, basically it is with European Union. Where was the Prakriti 2025 International Conference on Carbon Market held? And that New Delhi. Which country has developed the world's first carbon 14 diamond battery? And that country is UK. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing a village, India's first digital nomad village it is, and that is Sikkim-based Yaktain village. So recently, Yaktain village, located in the Pakyong district of Sikkim, was officially declared India's first digital nomad village. And basically it was launched under the mission, and that is Nomad Sikkim Initiative. And it is a collab between the district administration and NGO Sarvahite. Overall, the project aims to attract remote workers and support local homestay owners during the off season. And basically, here we are discussing the Sikkim. Its capital is Gangtok, and basically, it is a home of India's only mixed World Heritage Site, and that is the Kanchenjunga National Park. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and listed as mixed site as per the UNESCO and declared in 1977. So Kanchenjunga, it is located in Sikkim. Basically here we are discussing two major amendment act that is associated with the Sikkim. The first one, 35th Constitutional Amendment Act. Basically by this act, Sikkim was given a special status of associate state of India. But a year later, 36th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975 replaced the 35th Constitutional Amendment Act. And with 36th Constitutional Amendment Act, Sikkim was official state of the Indian Union. Right? Moving on, the next one. Who has been appointed as the first women DG of the Railway Protection Force. So here we are discussing the RPF and its first women DG, and that is Sonali Mishra. So recently Sonali Mishra was appointed as the first women DG of Railway Protection Force, and basically she is an Indian Police Service IPS officer from the Madhya Pradesh cadre, and recently she replaced Manoj Yadav. So recently the first DG of RPF, and that is Sonali Mishra. Here we are discussing the RPF. Its establishment year was 1957. And when was the RPF declared an armed force of the Union? And that date is 20 September 1985. Moving on the next one. So recent place in news, and that is Barak Valley. So recently it was in news, and it is located in which state of India, and that is Assam. So recently the APCC president and Lok Sabha member of parliament, and that is Gaurav Gogoi, urged the PM to resolve the worst connectivity crisis in Barak Valley. Overall, Barak Valley, it is the southernmost region of Assam, named after the Barak River. It includes three major districts, and they are Kachar, Halaikandi and Karimganj, covering about 9% of Assam's area. Overall, Barak Valley, it borders Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur and Tripura and Bangladesh. And the major product of Barak Valley, basically it is most famous for tea cultivation. So you have to remember Barak Valley and its associated river, and that is Barak River. And also point, Barak River flows through the states of Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram and Assam in India and into the Bay of Bengal, the final destination of Barak River. Moving on the next one. Here we are discussing a major missile system, and that is the Patriot Air Defense Missile System. Currently it was in news just because the US President decision, and answer is option number D, it is from US. So recently the US President announced that Washington will send Patriot air defense system to Ukraine to counter increasing Russian aggression. Overall, Patriot air defense system, it is an all-altitude, all-weather surface-to-air missile defense system. Initially designed for anti-aircraft role, and the new version can destroy ballistic missile, cruise missile and the other aircraft. Overall, it is developed by the Raytheon Technologies, and it is the most advanced air defense system used by the US Army. And just because of US and Ukraine deal for Patriot air defense missile system, it was in news. Currently, the president of Ukraine, the sixth president of Ukraine, he is, and that is Volodymyr Zelensky. Basically, previously, he was an actor and comedian with no prior political experience, and in 2019, he became the sixth president of Ukraine. Moving on, the next one. Here we are discussing the Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, TKDL. So, which country has become the first in the world to launch a Traditional Knowledge Digital Library? And basically, it is India. So recently the WHO, World Health Organization, released a technical brief titled Mapping the Application of AI in Traditional Medicine. And the brief recognized India's leadership in using AI in traditional medicine, especially Ayush system. And hence, India became the first country to launch the Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. It is a digital database of traditional medicine knowledge, including Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. Overall, you have to remember the TKDL is a joint initiative between the CSIR and the Ministry of Ayush. Here, CSIR, it stands for Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, right? So, which is the implementing agency of TKDL in India, and that is CSIR, and it functions under the Ministry of Ayush. And the recent cabinet minister of Ministry of Ayush that you have to mention in the comment box. Moving on, the next one, which state government has launched the Pirina Assuni scheme to support class 10th students. So here we are discussing a major scheme from state, and that is Pirina Assuni, and basically it is initiated by the Assam. So recently the Assam government launched the Pirina Assuni scheme to support class 10th student. Through this scheme, basically it will provide 300 rupees per month as financial aid to the student of Assam State Secondary Education Board. Overall, it targets students appearing in high school, and this scheme will be implemented from November 1st, 2025. So, the Pirina Assuni, it is from Assam. Moving on, the next one. Which institution hosted the Shalakon 2025, the third national conference on Shalya Tantra? So basically here we are discussing the third edition of National Conference on Shalya Tantra, and it is hosted by the All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi. So on 15th of July, it is an important date because India observes Sushruth Jayanti every year on 15th of July, dedicated to the father of surgery. So who is considered the father of surgery in ancient medicine? And that is Sushruta. Basically, recently, Sri Pratap Rao Jadhav, the Minister of State of Ministry of Ayush, inaugurated the Shalakon 2025 in New Delhi. So Shalakon 2025, it is the third national conference on Shalya Tantra hosted by the AIIA, the All India Institute of Ayurveda. And the theme is innovation, integration, inspiration, focusing on Ayurvedic surgical advancement and collaboration. Overall, the date 15 July, it is annually celebrated as Sushruth Jayanti. Moving on. So with this question, we are completing this session, and the question of the quiz for the day, it is associated with the events in news that you have to mention in the comment box, and they are. And we will meet with the next one. Till then, please do revision. For more information, you can check the description box just below the video. Thank you for watching.